All right, let's dive into a pop quiz about the most complex and fascinating machine on the planet, the one you're using right this second, your own body. You might think you know it pretty well, but how much do you really know? Let's find out.
So, are you ready to put your knowledge to the test? Some of these facts might honestly surprise you. Let's get started.
Here's our little tour for today. We'll start with your body's command center, then move to the engine that keeps everything running, and wrap up with the incredible blueprint for new life. So, first up, let's talk about the command center.
We're talking about the nervous system, of course. Think of it as this incredibly complex electrical wiring that sends messages for absolutely everything you do, from blinking to solving a puzzle.
Okay, first question for you. Your brain has these direct lines that control your senses and facial movements. How many pairs of these cranial nerves are there? Take a guess.
And the answer is 12. Yep, 12 pairs of cranial nerves, each one in charge of something specific, connecting your brain directly to your head, neck, and torso.
Okay, so that's the brain's direct hookups. But what about the rest of the body? How many pairs of spinal nerves branch out from the spinal cord to wire up everything else?
31. There are 31 pairs. It's just amazing when you think about it. That's the vast network that lets your brain tell your toes to wiggle and lets you feel the texture of a piece of fabric all in an instant.
All right, let's get a little more specific with the anatomy. Your spinal cord doesn't actually go all the way down your back. So where does it typically stop in an adult?
It usually ends right around the L2 vertebra, which is the second bone in your lower back. This pointy end has a pretty cool name, the conus medullaris.
Now, why should you care about this one little anatomical detail? Well, it's a huge deal in medicine. If a doctor needs to do a spinal tap, they need to collect fluid without hitting the spinal cord. Knowing the cord ends at L2 means they can safely insert the needle lower down, like at L4 or L5. It's a perfect example of how knowing our body's map keeps us safe.
Okay, we've looked at the wiring. Now it's time to check out the engine, the vital organs that are working non-stop to keep you going.
So, we all know the heart is this amazing pump, sending blood out to the whole body. But have you ever wondered, how does the heart muscle itself get blood? It's working harder than anything else. Where does its fuel come from?
The answer is the ascending aorta. And the logic here is just beautiful. The heart pays itself first. As soon as that fresh, oxygen-rich blood gets pumped out of the heart, the very first branches off that giant artery go right back to feed the heart muscle. It makes perfect sense, right? The engine has to get fuel before anyone else.
All right, moving on to the lungs. There's a tiny space around your lungs called the pleural cavity. If air gets in there, it can cause the lung to collapse, which is obviously very serious. What's the medical name for that condition?
It's called a pneumothorax. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Pneumo basically means air, and thorax means chest. So air in the chest. Simple as that. And you can see, if it's blood not space, it's called a hemothorax. Hemo for blood.
Speaking of knowing where things should and shouldn't go, let's talk about getting a shot. Why is it always given in that upper, outer part of your backside? Well, if you imagine dividing the area into 4 squares, the only safe spot is that upper, outer one. That's because the huge sciatic nerve runs right through the other areas. Hitting it would be incredibly painful and could cause serious damage. It's all about the map.
And for our last section, we're going to explore one of the most remarkable processes of all, the science behind creating a new life.
Let's start with the basics of the menstrual cycle. In a textbook 28-day cycle, you've got this key event that happens right around the halfway point, on day 14. And that's ovulation, the moment an egg is released.
Now that egg develops inside a little sac in the ovary called a follicle. It goes through a few stages to mature. So what's the name for the fully grown, mature follicle that's ready to release that egg?
That would be the Graafian follicle. You can think of it as the graduate of the class. It's the one that has reached full maturity and is ready for the main event, ovulation.
Okay, when it comes to pregnancy, 2 hormones are absolute superstars, but they do completely different jobs. You've got progesterone, which I like to call the maintainer. Its whole job is to keep the uterine lining stable to support the pregnancy. Then, way later, oxytocin comes in. It's the contractor, stimulating the powerful contractions needed for labor. 2 key players, 2 very different roles.
So where does that incredible moment of fertilization usually take place? A lot of people might guess the uterus, but it actually happens earlier. On the journey there,
The most common spot is a place called the ampulla, which is the widest part of the oviduct, or a fallopian tube. It's like the perfect meeting place.
So how does that tiny egg make its way down the tube? It's not just floating. The body has this brilliant system. They're tiny hairs called cilia that are constantly sweeping it along, a layer of mucus to help it slide, and gentle, wave-like muscle contractions pushing it forward. It's a real team effort.
So, from the intricate wiring of your nervous system to the hormonal dance that creates new life, your body is just amazing. It's performing millions of flawless operations every single day without you even thinking about it. We've barely scratched the surface today. So my question for you is, what part of this incredible machine are you most curious about now?